Yo, what's happening guys? Welcome back to Tokimotive. Alright, so if you see behind me, there is an unopened Rb30 hanging in the air, which I've had tucked away in the corner, kind of kept as a spare. Now, as we all know, generally when you have a project that takes way longer than you expect, run into little hiccups, and just if you try and do things right, it takes longer. So my solution to that, white wagon is gonna make a comeback. That's right. Alright, so what I'm gonna do, unopened Rb30 over there, slap my setup onto the unopened motor, put smaller springs in the wastegate, cram 10 pounds down a gut, English motherfucker, do you speak it? Cram 10 pound down its guts, yeehaw cowboy road tune, send it. Just fucking drive the thing. That used to be how my daily was set up to begin with, that old blue wagon when I first got it. It was behind the car and yeehaw cowboy tune setup, unopened motor, fucking go, send. So why can't I do it again? And I may as well, I got that 30 there. Now here's the thing, this was a spur of the moment decision. There was no thought put into this whatsoever. You know, it's not gonna make the power the old one did, but it's gonna be fun. It's gonna make all the cool noises and I'm gonna be able to drive it. So completely, basically unprepared, but I should have everything here to get it going and running. So plan is get as much ready as I can tonight. Then Alex is coming around first thing tomorrow morning and we're just gonna go ham all day Sunday. And with any luck, that'll be running and driving by that night. Hope you enjoy, and hopefully by the end of this video, we'll be ready to do fucking skids. Skids. Oh, that's fucking nasty. I don't even know what half of that is. Oh, that's bad. Oh. That is so fucking gross. This is my head drain that I had set up on the wagon originally. Now, this was back before I could weld, but the setup works. So, we got a stainless weld-on fitting here. Drilled a large hole through the sump. That sits through, it's got an oil-rated O-ring there. It's got an oil-rated O-ring on the other side where the fitting is. And it's just sandwiched together. And the only thing I ever got out of it was a small weep when I first put it in. So I'm just gonna run it. We're just setting it up. Yeehaw cowboy, let's go. So yeah, I'm not gonna bother messing with it too much. I'll just give it a tighten up, make sure it's all stiff and good and not gonna leak. And we're just gonna slap it up in there. Yep. Hey, look at that. You spoke on camera. Look you go. I put it back in with an ugga before.
They were way tight.
Oops. Alright, so now the plan is to get it to being unopened motor, get to hold a little bit more power and be a bit more reliable. Got head studs, we're going to do the old one out, one in trick. So we'll just remove one head bolt, put this down in there, put a little bit of Bit of assembly lube on the bottom, make sure they're all clean. Just give it a little twitch in with the hex head at the top. Make sure they're in there right, because the holes might be a bit dirty, but so it is, full send. And then torque one down at a time and just replace one by one. And hopefully it'll hold a little bit more power, be a little bit more reliable. We rang ARP and said, hey, do we really have to change the head gasket? Can we just change one stud at a time? They'd say no.
Or you get that one, it's like, oh, we'd advise you not to, but people get it. So you're going to drive like a civil community?
Yes, absolutely. I save all my silliness for the track. I am a responsible member of society. And apparently also a liar. This is getting sent. Whether it lasts a year or 5 minutes, it's going in. So I just checked out the turbo, and looks like the old internal gate has cracked open and split the weld, so I'm going to hammer that down, give that a clean, and then just I'll preheat it, just put a bunch of weld in there and hopefully it holds.
Oh yeah.
Everything was on fire. Whoops. The words of "that'll do" while welding my turbo. That'll do. I'm really getting back to my drifting roots. They're not very good. My regulator's fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, we only just replaced that one.
Yeah. Well, that's all it's getting, because I now have zero gas coming through. That's why it reacted really extreme. Fuck, that's ugly as. Oh, regulator died at a fucking bad time. That one's probably more of a hole than a seal. Anyway, it's fucking... it's kind of boogered up. This, for here, that runs through the oil filter sandwich plate, which I lost the seal for. One of the fancy Rb30 oil filters I've got has a seal that fits in that hole pretty nice. It's probably dodgy as fuck, but it seals an oil filter, so why can't it seal a sandwich plate? The plan is not to drop it. It's not about it. Yeah, exactly. We only drop barrels. Well, getting it running in one day, like motor in, setup, everything, didn't quite go to plan, but it's really not far off. It's a Monday night. I would like to see this thing run before the end of the week and get cracking into it, and hopefully I can get it running and at least a half decent tune on it.
2 days later.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. It's a fucking moment of truth. I think I've got everything buttoned up the way it needs to be. I'm gonna give it a crank over, see if I can build some oil pressure. Hopefully there's some charge left in the battery. And see if it'll start on the old tune, even if it'll start just enough to prove that it's gonna start for me. It's been some dodgy shit happening, but full send and A+T build. Let's go. What the fuck have I done? Ha, wrong wire. Cars is disconnected. Come on, girl. Give me all pressure. Was fucking sending it. 30 stock oil pumps, not built oil pressure before, just from cranking. It's either gonna fire and work, or it's gonna die. Took it for a little fat lap. So far, no leaks whatsoever. It actually feels pretty peppy and healthy. Woo! Not bad for a fucking spare engine, unopened with some head studs thrown in it. It's like 11:30, I should probably stop. Now, checking timing on a coil-on plug setup. If you've got a dumb timing like mine, just a cheapie, you won't be able to pick it up just from the trigger wire, which I've got to get a good new one, but here's something you can do. So, get a lead that fits down in, clips over your plug, strip the end off of one, so that you can pop it in here, sort of mesh it with the spring, a little conductive spring in there, like so. Now, when I fire that up, it should still run as normal, and then just as you would to a normal setup. Just clip the doobie over that, and then if your connection's good enough, it'll run, and you'll be able to check your timing that way. Position on the ECU is locked to 15 degrees advanced, so I just get my timing light and check to see if the harmonic balancer is reading the same as the ECU, and then adjust the suit. Already put the first plug back in, but I thought it sounded a bit rough. Would appear cylinder 3 isn't firing. So I've tracked it down to a dead coil. It's got really super weak spark. So I pulled it apart. That's not meant to be rusty. It's just super weak and won't actually fire the plug. Full new set of coils. Nice. Alright guys, so I ended up getting a full set of new R35 style coils, which they worked well for ages before, and it's just a bit of moisture got in one, so I'm not too concerned about them being generic. But runs freaking mint now. That last little running clip, that was it with all the new coils in, and it runs so good. I just threw a bunch of fuel at that tune and readjusted a couple of things to make it suit. Still a couple of little rich spots I got to iron out, just where it gets the full boost when you load it up in fourth gear. Being that it's NA compression, not the lower comp forged pistons, it comes on about 400 or 500 RPM sooner. So I've just got to take a little bit of a fat out of there, because that's just somewhere on the map that it never really played around with. Not a big deal, pretty easy to fix, and I'd rather it have a rich spot than a lean spot, which it doesn't. It's nice, fat, and happy. It's seeing like 11.6, 11.8, nothing higher. So she's good. She's good. It's a good, safe tune, and it just sounds so healthy. It's not lacking timing. It's just running great. I drove it to work today, and it's freaking sweet. I had no charge on my GoPro and no one to film, so that's why there's no footage of it. But really happy, super glad I did it. Thank you, Alex, thanks for the idea. Alex came up with it Sunday afternoon, and I just kind of ran with it. I got excited, and glad I did. I got something fun to drive while I build the S13, get it ready for the road. Plans still pretty much the same for it, but at least I'll have something to drive in the meantime, and my skills will be brushed up a bit before I jump in the S chassis. Then I can really experience what sort of improvement there is having a live rear end. But anyways guys, that's going to be it for this one. If you're excited to see the wagon back, and or you enjoyed the video, leave a like, drop a comment down below, let me know your thoughts. Tell your friends about the channel if you think it's something they'll enjoy. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. That was probably weird as fuck. Hi.